So I woke up this morning and I discovered that overnight the temperatures had dropped here in Minnesota. And it's fitting that today is the day that the temperatures had finally dropped, because today is the first day of autumn here in the Northern Hemisphere. And I look outside and I see that the leaves are just starting to change here in my part of the state. And of course, one can then look ahead at what's going to happen when we have, cooler weather coming here. And the plant life will die. Many animals will hibernate. Others will travel south. And just overall, the vibe of summer, that kind of that party energy, will fade. And then we've got more of this, grave or something, as you might describe, sensation of fall. And yet I step outside this morning and I feel good. And that's sort of the counterintuitive point as to why I'm making this video. Like, why would that feel good? Even my mom likes fall, and she hates the Minnesota winters. It's just way too cold for her. She loves to travel outside of Minnesota in the winters if she can, to go south. And she likes fall, even though we both know what's coming. So why is it that we like these seasons? And so I'm breaking this video down with two areas. One is, what is it about seasons? And then the second thing is, why fall? Why this particular season that gets to us? To the question of seasons and why they affect us so much, I think as organisms on this planet, we're very, very, we are intimately tied. We can't untie ourselves, I think, from Mother Earth. And so I believe that each season is a powerful, I think we experience a oneness, a reminder of the seasons of our lives, the moods of our lives, and experiencing it as Mother Earth feels it. I'm not too hippy-dippy, but I really think that there's something to that. If you're in a climate that has more exaggerated seasons, you know this. You know that when you feel that first gust of winter wind or see that first snowfall, there's a deep sensation that kind of settles. At least it does on me. And when you have that first warm day, Minnesota's famous for this. People are out there, and of course we're used to the cold, so we're out there in t-shirts when it's 50 degrees, 45 degrees, as long as it's sunny. And our mood, like, we're talking to strangers, we're just, it's like our team just won the big game. We're very outgoing and social suddenly. These deep connections to the seasons, and why they each bring, I think, a if not an uplift, then a groundedness, and that makes us feel alive, I think. And in the case of fall, I love it because, well, there's some superficial reasons why I love it. One, and superficial, I mean, they're deep, but they're not maybe as deep as the spiritual stuff. But I like going back to school in the fall. So I associate it with that. So this is sort of conditioned in me as a child to like the fall. My dad loved football. So he loves football to this day. So, in fact, I'm recording this at 1 p.m. on a Sunday, and he's watching the game. And if I wasn't recording this, I might be checking the score myself. So that was really drilled into me growing up. And so we would go out and play football in the backyard. So there's some of that just stuff from my own upbringing that play into this. But then I think the particular mood of fall speaks to me, because the same reason I've really appreciated interviewing older people and them talking about their experiences in life. It's maybe the swan song of nature. It's grand finale, the leaves in the trees becoming suddenly bright and beautiful. And maybe it's this beautiful like the last showing of fireworks for the 4th of July, the very last big finale that they always have explode in the air. But it's also an acknowledgement of, an ending. And to me, that's all about reflection. So the word that I come up with a lot is reflection. And that makes me feel very grateful, right? And it makes me get connected to the preciousness of our life when we look back on it and we remember just how amazing it is. Fall is that time of year for me where I look back perhaps at the summer, but then in general, and just appreciate that, that tree was very alive, and now it's going to sleep for a while. That the just the brilliance of the foliage in that tree, or the flower, or the animal. I guess the absence helps me appreciate that which was so brilliant all summer long, and so it's a real powerful note of gratitude. There's also I call it I'm kind of a melancholic romantic, where I just love that kind of music and that kind of film where there's like reflection and gravity, and fall to me really speaks to that. Summer is a lot of fun. Spring is rebirth, and they're both extremely powerful and beautiful. But for whatever reason, I just have been a bit more connected with that. Like I said, kind of a melancholic romantic. So anyway, I stepped out in weather that was cooler. I had to wear an extra layer, and yet I found it to be satisfying. And perhaps on the most superficial note of all, I'll finally add that I like fall clothes. Like, I think t-shirt and shorts is boring, and there's not a lot you can do with that. I'm not a super duper fashion connoisseur, but I like jackets. That's my favorite article of clothing, is jackets. So, and you get to really put on a nice fall jacket and have some fun with that. So there's that as well. So anyway, this is a long way perhaps of saying happy autumn to all of you in the northern hemisphere, and to those in the southern hemisphere who might be watching this, happy springtime, the time of rebirth. So yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the season changes and specifically autumn. Thanks.